question.
Don't trust
We have no idea what we're doing. Right now, I'm next to Shelly. Shelly is like a fanatic on vaccines and autism. She came in here. She kind of informed me of what she believes causes autism. And she said to me, "Arnold, I want to do a video." I said, "Shelly, you're on stage." So, okay, Shelly, why don't you talk about vaccines, autism, and feel free to say anything you want. Keep in mind, this is our opinion.
This is our opinion, and we're sticking to it.
We're sticking to it, right.
I'd like to introduce myself first and foremost, that in September, the Hannah Pauling case was awarded $1.5 million by the United States government in the vaccine court, that the vaccines did not cause the autism, but, quote, resulted in Hannah Pauling's autism. It is a done deal. It's the first time anywhere in the world it was scientifically proven, admitted, and now they're paying for it.
That's the one case.
That's just the one case, the first one in the world.
Wow.
Or the first big one in the world.
Okay.
Now that the cat's out of the bag, I'm going to give you my perspective. While the TV commercial says it's 1 out of 150 children, I would say in the Northeast and in California, and nationally, it's been published that it's 1 in every 10 children. 1 in 10 children has learning disabilities. Don't even get me started on diabetes, cancer, hypothyroidism, ADD, ADHD, and any other letter of the alphabet. In New Jersey, it's 1 out of 6 children. I have towns where it's 1 out of 3.
And you said that's because?
Well, let me not implicate vaccines.
Okay.
Let me implicate thimerosal, mercury, embalming fluid, antifreeze, anticoagulants, squalene, polysorbate 50, polysorbate 80, and 50 other ingredients within each shot. Now,
Found in one vaccine.
One vaccine. And there's never been a long-term study of the cumulative effects, like when children get 8 shots in one day, the interaction between the DPT, the MMR, Hep B, polio. There's not one study in existence of the symbiotic cumulative effect. So you will continue to hear how mercury causes it, mercury doesn't cause it. You can hear that all you want. It isn't the one ingredient, it's the combination. Okay.
It's 58. By the time a kid's 5 years old, he gets 58 shots.
And I heard it was 69 by 6, so I'll take it. We'll take his 58.
Right.
On the day of birth, within 12 hours of a child being born, they're giving a hepatitis B shot. This is only for about 10 or 11 years now. So the young people whose children are being injected on the day of birth for a sexually transmitted disease, of which the shot will wear off by the time the child is 5. I'm wondering, what is the purpose of that? Is it really about health if the shot doesn't work when the child's 5? But I want to go in another direction.
Yeah, why don't you talk about
the actual illness?
What you do as far as people that do have autism.
Right, this is my opinion.
Okay.
Autism is 50 multiple illnesses in one moment in time, minimally. It's a skin problem. They have eczema and psoriasis. It's a headache problem. Their senses are overloaded. They smell too much. They see too much. They're hypersensitive hearing. Wearing a shirt could be like cutting them with a razor. They throw their clothes off. They have irritable bowel. They have gastroesophagitis reflux disease. They walk on their toes. They stare off into space, some of them extraordinarily violent. That type you don't see often. That's not the Rain Man type. There is not going to be a cure for autism until you acknowledge that it's 50 diseases in one moment in time. Therefore, you have to recover each layer of illness. Take away the skin problem. Let's see how the child's doing. Get rid of the stomach and the gut problem and the constipation and diarrhea. Let's see how the child's doing. Now I'm going to show you something that you can try at home.
When you say take away, what do you do? Because you're really not food oriented. Like I'm food oriented, and I would say remove the cause, give the body a healthy condition. You should see tremendous improvement in autism, from what I've seen.
He's right. For example, the eczema and the psoriasis, the scratching until they bleed, the rashes are related to food. In that case, we're talking dairy products.
Dairy products.
Would you like to speak on that? Because that's your expertise.
No, I'm not. Good.
Okay, and the dairy is causing an allergy because the body can't handle it, it's breaking down.
Right.
A lot of the babies with cradle cap, they're very young. But I'm going to show you something now.
Yeah.
Here's
What you
one
do.
that's very little known about that you can check for at home. You see a lot of these kids, and also an ADD, ADHD, whatever the illness, you see a lot of these kids reading and writing like this, or drawing like this. And it's believed that they're not motivated, they're tired, they're not focused. Actually, their left and their right eyes are not seeing the same thing at the same time. Maybe one eye is seeing there, one eye is seeing there. Words on a page move.
11 minutes.
A lot of the autistic kids are staring because they're actually moving bookcase to the window. Things are superimposing. What are they doing? And they're like this. It's not tired or a lack of motivation. Watch again. Look at my left eye. What am I doing? I'm blocking my left eye so that I can be able to see without double vision. Unfortunately, child study teams, doctors, pediatricians, eye experts do not look for how the two eyes work together or do not work together.
What would you do in that case? What would you do?
Can we stop and take care of him and come back?
That's okay. No, we
Okay.
can't.
In this case, there's some simple eye exercises, and now you can even find a few on the computer, where you're actually doing exercises with the eyes to work together. It's a lack of eye convergence, and there's a lot of names for it, but actually, just like going into a gym to getting big and strong, you can exercise the way the eyes work as a team versus independently. And you'll notice it's not only in autism and ADD and also common to dyslexia, but you'll notice as you age, a regular person without a lot of illnesses, as they age, they go like this, they lose their place, they read while they're sleeping. They too can benefit from these very simple eye exercises, which are actually fun. That will alleviate a lot of learning disabled children because they can't see words. What program is going to teach a child to read if they cannot see the words, if the words move at the end of the lines? This is so simple.
Good.
Oh,
What about underneath the table? No more.
What?
You spoke about someone who's underneath the table.
Oh,
Eyes underneath the
very
table.
good. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
For the violent type of autistic kids and the ones their system is breaking down, they often hide in a closet or under a table. And a lot of people working with autism will either reward or punish the child from coming out from under a table or a dark closet. And I say don't do that. By looking at the child's symptoms, you can start to figure out what the child needs to be recovered. So if they're under the table, maybe the fluorescent light is hurting them. They happen to see the glare. They happen to see differently. Or maybe there's a smell in the room that's just freaking them out. Or there could be a little piece of paper over there, out of place on the floor. We wouldn't even notice. That can freak them out. So what they do when they hide under the table is they reduce their own sensory overload, and it's an act of self-medicating. If we find out that the flickering of the fluorescent lights or the halo is hurting them, we change what kind of lights they have to be exposed to, then their need to stay under the table will dissipate, and the child will come out when they're ready. This is a valuable tool in knowing what to do with that child.
Well, are you saying if you reverse the system, a lot of autism will go away, or just the autistic kid will get much better? Or a little bit of both? In your experience?
Both. You can see, you can't use the word cure
Right.
because nobody will listen.
Right.
But you can see a 3-year-old who's banging his head,
Right.
vomiting, screaming, no eye contact, no touching,
Right.
playing with pots and pans all day,
Right.
get onto the honor roll,
Right.
read, write, become empathetic,
Wow.
make eye contact,
Wow.
be loving and kind, have memory.
Just by
what do you want to call
just
that?
by addressing all 50 symptoms.
At least 50.
At least 50 symptoms. Now, who else out there? Is there a school for someone to learn about this?
Not really, but Dr. Eisenstein,
Dr. Eisenstein.
he's both a lawyer and a doctor. He
And
has
you have a
3 webinars.
Yeah.
Homefirst.com.
Homefirst.com.
Would say we need to remove the term autism entirely.
Right.
Many experts, including Dr. McCullough and many others, say that all autism is damage, neurological damage from the components in chemicals that the children receive.
But you're also saying that for most part, you could see great improvement once you remove the causes.
Right, and if you can detox the individual.
And detox is for dietary.
You can absolutely, dietary is critical in detoxing. You mentioned hyperbaric oxygen.
I did mention that.
There's a mixed review on that. It
Right.
will work for one and
Right.
not for another.
I just read this book, Train Healthy Children. She talks about autism and hyperbaric chamber, but she also talks about dietary choices.
Diet is very important. It's a big picture. Diet
Right.
is, but there's 49 other things
Right.
that could be, like the eyes are not going to get better just with diet. They will
Right.
actually need the exercise. But
Right.
can the diet influence the eyes? Of course it can.
Right, right.
But it's a symbiotic.
Now, someone with mothers with autism children, how can they find more about what you do? Like a website?
I mean,
Or?
the 94% that are divorced. 94% of mothers who have one autistic or severely learning disabled child
Divorce.
are divorced. Most of them, if they spend money on the therapy, here's another point. This
Yeah.
is perhaps the most important.
Yeah.
When a child is ill with autism, ADD, whatever the problem is, there's a window of opportunity to recover the brain and reboot it. It's approximately from birth, depending on the child, to around the age of 7 or 8. If you take that child and you give them right away speech therapy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, music therapy,
Right.
all the things that you can do. The brain is like, let's say you have a broken tree. It got hit by a storm and half of it doesn't grow. If you don't do anything, the other half, it will eventually die. But if a good arborist comes along and prepares the tree and does what it takes for the
Right.
other half to grow, my
Right.
point of view is you can reboot anybody up until a certain age. Now, if as a parent you've done all the early interventions, by the way,
Right.
my article is Autism is Curable with Early Intervention.
So where's that at?
You can Google it, April
Google.
09.
What?
April 09, it was published, you can Google it.
April 09.
Autism is Curable with Early Intervention. I wish I would have said recoverable. I got in a lot of trouble
Right.
for that one, but anyway.
Right.
If a parent has jumped in and had the child been art therapist, music therapist as an infant, then the window of opportunity to keep recovering the child expands beyond the age of 7. It goes into 8, 9, 10, 11, and who knows, because you reset the brain. You rebooted the parts that haven't traditionally worked. Now, the gut interferes with the brain more than the brain interferes with the gut. So one of the starting points is, and that's your area,
Right.
whether it's yeast from
Right.
antibiotics,
Right.
or not to have dairy, or whatever it is you
I know the body always instead of purification, homeostasis. I know that. Every single moment. Less intestinal digestion, more energy your body has. I work with people with autistic children, and they have seen tremendous improvement.
Okay, I need to show the back of a book.
Anyway, what time is it?
13.
13. We gotta get going.
I'm just going to show the back
One
of
more.
this book.
This is the
Some
last
of you
thing.
might know Doris Rapp, and she was on the Phil Donahue show in the
Okay.
80s, showing children who were violent and ill. She would give them something nutritionally, and all of a sudden they were fine. If you can I pan
Yeah, we
in?
got. How many more minutes we got?
13:44.
We gotta get out. Otherwise, we turn it off.
You'll see the red cheeks, the ears. This is all allergies to substances. She teaches what to do. Is this your child?
Okay, ready? That's it. Bye. We gotta turn it off. Turn it off.
Thank you. Thank
We have to
you.
give you a turn off. Turn it off.